Hey friends, it's Ryan with Arrows of Love. Today I'm going to talk about the full moon on September 10th and then the events that are going to be triggered that are going to change the rest of 2022 and maybe even history. This has been brewing for a while, and it has a lot to do with our friend Saturn sitting in Aquarius going retrograde right now. So the full moon is always a culmination of events. It's the end of the lunar cycle. Sun is representative of solar figures, leaders, political leaders, independent people, generally speaking. People that are ruled by the sun tend to be very individualistic, kind of perfect in their own way, very spiritual, but they tend to go about it alone. Moon is the counterpart. Moon travels around the Earth, makes a full orbit about once every 28 days or so. But the sun and the moon are always the luminaries. They're casting a light on something that was planted 2 weeks ago at the time of the new moon. So here it is. This is the end of the cycle. Pisces is the last sign. It's the 12th sign. Pisces is representative of healing. It's something a little bit ethereal, but it's also an ending of some type. And there can be a lot of deception involved in Pisces as well. That is the one negative trait of Pisces. And then Virgo, which has a lot to do with healing as well. Virgo can be really critical, dissecting, decoding. A lot of doctors are associated with this too. So there's going to be some type of healing that is coming about with this particular full moon, but it's going to involve political leaders. And the reason for that is Saturn. So take a look at the degrees here. We have the full moon, we have the sun sitting at 17 degrees of Virgo, and then we have the moon sitting at 17 degrees of Pisces, and then making a very close conjunction to the moon is Neptune. And Neptune is a nebulous planet. It's known for compassion, empathy, inspiration, mystical arts, but it's also deception and delusion. So moon right now is coming up close to what could be something very nebulous, and sun is shining a light on it. In Vedic astrology, this particular area of the chart, if you move it 24 degrees back, is known as Purva Bhadrapada. This is the nakshatra that this particular moon is this full moon will culminate in. Purva Bhadrapada is a fiery, fierce nakshatra. It's known as the dragon underneath, the fire dragon. And it's ruled by the two-faced man, which is indicative of the past and the future, but it's also two-faced people. So the sun shining a light on something pretty ethereal. Could be secrets, could be something with gas even. Neptune rules water. Could be something with water coming up here, something in the water even. All of these themes could be coming up overall on this particular full moon, but it's something nebulous. It's something not seen. It's something beyond our capability of really understanding at this point. Now, with that said, take a look at where Mars is sitting in Gemini, starting to slow down. He's going to be retrograding in October, but he's making a loose square, T-square, to this full moon, and Mars is cutting, severing. Mars is the warrior. Mars is police, military. Mars is also murderers. That's just kind of the reality. It's part of the archetype. So there is some major tension and aggression, perhaps even hidden aggression with this particular full moon. And on top of it, Venus, planet of love, harmony, is in her fall in the sign of Virgo. She doesn't like to be in Virgo, and it has a lot to do with health. So I think we're going to see a lot of health things come up, maybe even something like something in the water, something mystical. It could even be gaseous in some way, right? Because Neptune is water, water evaporates and also turns into solid. So it has this changeable feature to it in a way. So on the 10th, we have this full moon right around about, let's see here, it's about 10 o'clock or so Central Standard Time. Now, if I move this forward a little bit, I want you to take a look at what happens to Mercury shortly thereafter. So the moon is going to come up and hit the conjunction to Neptune You can see it's moving forward. Oh, hold on. And then Mercury goes retrograde right around 4 o'clock or so. The little R appears here. The full moon is going to illuminate something, and then communication, technology, travel is all going to get very screwed up because Mercury is now in the sign of Venus. This is Libra. Venus rules Libra, and Venus is at her fall. She's debilitated in the sign of Virgo. So, and Mercury rules Virgo. So there is mutual reception between the two because Venus and Mercury are in each other's signs. But head and heart here are not one and the same. So right after the full moon, Mercury is going to be retrograding all the way back, and is going to come back actually to Virgo here, and is going to be making a loose opposition over to Neptune once again. So this theme of past and future, two-faced people, is going to be coming up again and again and again. It's secrets revealed, essentially, right? And on top of it, you can see now that the sun is going to be making a trine over to rebellious, unpredictable Uranus, which is right next to the North Node, which is known as Rahu in Vedic astrology and in Western astrology. And Rahu is known for politicians. Rahu is illusion. He's a liar. He's a cheat and a thief. He'll give you whatever you want. He'll lure you in to see how you deal with your desires. So now it's a solar figure of some type needing independence or having independence. Some type of illusion here, again, it's Venus rule because this is the sign of Taurus, and Venus rules Taurus. Food, water. I think of supply chain, our food supply. Something is going to happen that's going to have a dramatic effect on this. And it's all going to be changing because Uranus is this unpredictable change agent, shock and awe. Now, it is a trine, so it could be a good change, but it's got a theme of independence to it. So if you know solar-like figures, politicians, anything, it's a change of some type. Could be good, could be bad. Uranus is unpredictable. We don't really know, but Mercury is going to be moving backwards now. And now I want you to take a look at what's happening to Saturn. Saturn's sitting in the sign of Aquarius, which he rules. Modern astrology, they say Uranus rules Aquarius as well, but Aquarius is the sign of the collective. It's the sign of people, friends, allies, people politica. It's the 11th house. So we're coming up to the very end where Pisces is at, right? Where the moon and Neptune are sitting, but Saturn is very, very strong in the sign of Aquarius. And Saturn is opposing the sign of Leo, which is ruled by the sun. Sun and Saturn are arch enemies. They are not friends. Saturn also rules Capricorn. And look at what's in Capricorn. This is Pluto. It's death, underworld things. Capricorn is the sign of government, structures. It's also known as the graveyard. It's where things end. So I want you to take a look here. So we have Saturn sitting at 20. We have the sun sitting at 17. Now, if we count from here to where the sun is, you're going to see what's about to happen here. So we count Saturn in his first house in the sign of Aquarius. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th house is the house of death. It's endings, upheaval. The only planet that overcomes sun is Capricorn, Saturn. Their arch enemies, in this case, Saturn is in the superior position in his own house of Aquarius. It's people rebelling. It's people taking down leaders. It's people demanding resignations. It's the public turning on leaders. Reputation takes a hit of some type here. We're going to see some massive, massive changes. So this 8th aspect onto the sun in Virgo, I have a feeling that we will see, we're going to see some major changes this weekend. And it starts with that full moon, Mercury going retrograde. And then as the sun, over the next couple of days here, let's see where it actually starts to make, on the 12th, Now, as the sun is moving forward, Saturn is now having an 8th house aspect onto the sun in Virgo. Not great overall. Like I said, Capricorn Saturn is the only planet that takes out the sun. Even kings, sun-like figures, solar-like figures die. Or they're taken down a peg, or they're taught a lesson of some type, or there's some type of shame, because Saturn's about shame. It's insiders and outsiders. It's things coming about. It's the end. Boundaries and limits. And now Saturn, now here's Moon making a sextile over to Saturn as it enters into fiery Aries. And again, Mars is right in the middle of it. So Mars plays a role here, but as the sun moves forward, we're going to see some really, really big changes come forward, because Saturn is in that superior position in his masculine sign where he's very comfortable in the sign of Aquarius. People are going to be demanding leaders step down. Or we might see some crazy people, because Mars in Gemini, that's mental anxiety. That is having an overactive mind. Those are people losing control of their thoughts and their emotions, because Mars is fast. And in the sign of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, it's fast talkers. It's agitated thinkers, right? So these are people that are wanting to take down leaders, essentially. And Mars is making a 1, 2, 3, 4th aspect. The 4th house is known as, you can take it from Mars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the 6 is conflict. And that's where Mars, the 6th house is known as the joy of Mars. And Mars is cutting and severing. So a lot of world leaders are coming down, and this full moon over the weekend is going to be a part of it. Now, personally, if you have solar-like figures in your life, again, I don't want to say it's always death, right? But we're going to see people leave the earth. And that's just a part of what we're about to go through. We all decided as a soul contract to come into this plane at this time so our souls can progress. And this is it. This is the start of it, essentially. This Mercury Retrograde is going to be a real doozy. This is going to be reviewing relationships. So a lot of you are going to be reviewing relationships. If you're in a relationship with a sun-like figure, this could be pretty difficult. On the other hand, this also could be unavoidable accidents, just like unexplained upheaval, right? Because that 8th aspect onto the sun from Saturn is going to be pretty difficult. And on top of it, Venus is going to be making that, slowly making her way to that same aspect here. So it's not going to be easy for relationships either. It's going to be some really tough things overall. So I wanted to provide this insight. Again, it is this Uranus-Rahu conjunction that is really lighting things up. And Rahu is the illusionist. He's the grand illusionist. He's obsession, he's drugs, he's addictions of all type. Like I said, he's trying to lure you in. He wants to see who's worthy of higher enlightenment. If you're obsessing about something, pay attention to it. It's probably something you need to let go. But here we go. This is it. This is this moment of 2022 that we've all been waiting for. And it has a lot to do with kingly-like figures. Whew. We'll see what happens. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm always interested to hear what other insights people see here. Oh, and on top of it, K2, moksha, liberation, in the sign of, Scorpio, which is blood, secrets, death. That's... Oh, we're living in some really, really challenging times, folks. And I'm telling people this because sometimes awareness lessens the shock and why things are happening. And this is the rearrangement of society. I mean, this is what society is. It is Aquarius. It's liberation and freedom. It's taking care of the collective. Do we have world leaders that are acting kingly and not taking care of their people? We'll see. You know, in the United States chart, the 10th house is ruled by Mercury. So, you know, our own president and former presidents could potentially, you know, take a fall of some type here. So I want people to be aware. And if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. It helps the algorithm. I'm going to be posting more of these because we're headed into some very strange times, especially with Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and now this full moon, which I think is kind of the kickoff to all of it. Until next time, take care, folks.